Now from the University of Okoboji, it's Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee.
Welcome to Okoboji Broadcast, everybody. I'm Jeff Thee, coming to you from our fabulous, yet small studios right here at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park. I am so thrilled to have here with me today because I've worked with these guys for a while. I've got my friend Leo Kinnetz here to the left, and Sophia, say it for me, Menicucci. Menicucci-Doll. It's fun to say.
It is fun to say.
You know, just when I went to Italy, it was that chance. And I don't know why you put on an Italian accent when you're just saying the very basic things over there, but you always throw a little accent on it. And, and I look at, this guy's from the United States. Have you ever been? You ever been over there?
I've not been to Italy.
You need to go check out your roots.
Not yet.
Okay. Well, what we're doing here today, my friends, is we are talking about No Boundaries program there at Okoboji High School, and these two students have been very involved with it, and I've had an opportunity to work with them. Leo, do you remember the first time we met? It was probably about 50 feet from here last summer, out by the stage. You were here, and you came up to me, and you said, I want to do what you do. And I said, well, we should work on a project together. And it wasn't long after that, school year started, and you guys got in contact with me, and you were doing videos there. What's the overall Okoboji, the not the channel, but kind of the title of for the schools there?
Pioneer Broadcast.
Pioneer Broadcast. There you go. Threw a curveball at you, but yeah, Pioneer Broadcast. And you guys, earlier in the season, well, first of all, let me just ask, how long have you both been involved in No Boundaries? Did you do it back in middle school or more in high school?
So I tried to do it in middle school, but unfortunately I didn't make the cut because a lot of people want to do it in middle school.
Yeah.
So it's more of a lottery. But this is my second year doing No Boundaries.
Okay.
Great program, and the way I kind of got involved was Miss Schaefer, the guidance counselor, was like, you need to do NOBO. I'm like, okay, well, what is it? And she's like, well, you just need to do it. It's perfect for you. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So that's kind of how it was.
And Sophia Menicucci. Got right that time, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how long have you been involved, and you're kind of moving out of it now, you're getting ready for your senior year next year, but how did you get involved with it, and why?
So I also wanted to do it in middle school, but I didn't make the cut either. Because there was just, especially my school year, there was a lot of kids I wanted to do it too. And she did expand it a little bit, but I didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
But in high school, I didn't really know that there was a high school No Boundaries. So I didn't really think to ask about it or look into it my freshman and sophomore year.
Okay.
And then I just heard about it this year and was like, or last year, and I was like, wait a minute, I think I should do this because I think it's kind of fun, and
yeah.
I like a unique way of learning and like being flexible in my schedule and like what I'm doing. So that's why I thought it was going to be a really great opportunity. So
well, and that's kind of what brings it into explain just in a very short basis, but kind of what No Boundaries is. It's your opportunity to get out with real businesses, real philanthropy and so forth in the Iowa Great Lakes area as students, but working as professionals.
Yeah. It's definitely a unique way of learning and to get out of the regular school, like in a classroom, sitting in a desk, writing on paper or on your computer. So I really liked the opportunity to like be able to go around town or around the community and like work with real life people.
Yeah, and we all learn different ways. Mm-hmm. Some of us are better hands-on and actually doing something as opposed to memorization in a book.
And I think No Boundaries just does a really good job of also preparing you for like after high school.
Yeah.
In order to work with people like realistically.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Have you enjoyed that aspect of it?
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. Leo, how about you?
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. I'm really proud of Ms. Schaefer for getting me to do it. it's totally different from traditional school in a sense that you go out and you're given a task and you're not shown how to do it, but you create the path of how to do it yourself. And you find the solution for it. And I think that's a really cool aspect of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of self-initialization.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've kind of taken that and kind of went off with it. But yeah, it's No Boundaries is a great program.
Yeah.
I'm really proud. I think more schools should have it. In fact, I think all schools should have a form of it, you know?
Yeah, it's wonderful to actually be out there kind of in the real world while still... And you've got a wonderful facility there, just sets off of the
so
football
it's off campus. It's not in the actual school, so we call the high school mothership. And then, and then we call our building the Novo building. And so it's off campus. We have a little kitchenette. We have a coffee machine. We have 2 bathrooms. We have a conference room. And it's its own little world, you know?
Yeah.
And we go out. We have people come in. Anybody can come in at any time. So we're always trying to act professional, so then when somebody comes in, you know, we're prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we got started, trying to think when I started coming to the school, it was this past fall, and you guys were doing these projects, kind of started out with some stuff with homecoming and the football team and different things like that. Besides, we're going to talk about the documentary here in a second. What else did you guys work on?
So, school safety was one of them, and I really liked doing that. It talked about very important issues that's happening all around the world, and especially in the United States. Just different stuff, precautions that our school is doing to help keep our school safe.
Right.
So we talked with 2 police officers. We talked with the chief and Keaton, their school resource officer. And then we talked with Mr. Vonk at the elementary school, and he kind of gave us some guidance of new stuff that's getting implemented now,
Yeah.
Some new stuff that they were testing and looking into.
Yeah, and you also were instrumental in getting information out on the bond vote this past November, too. You interviewed principal, high school and middle school and elementary, and just getting the basic information for people to know when they went to the polls in November.
So the hard part about that was, as the school, speaking on behalf of the district, since it went out on school Facebook page, we had to be as accurate as possible. We had to be indifferent. We couldn't really say we wanted to support it. We couldn't say that
or anything.
Yeah, we kind of just had to say the facts, which was really hard to do. But I think we did a really good job with it, and I think it helped, not saying that we were trying to,
right,
but we were just trying to be accurate, and I think that's part of the reason that the bond did get passed, is because people seen accurate information on behalf of the school.
A well-educated opportunity at the polls, having the facts, not, I heard this over coffee this morning, and so kudos to you guys for getting that done.
To be, we really wanted the community to be informed, and I think we did a really good job with the videos that we did do, in finding something that was important in that moment and like something that needed to be talked about.
Yeah, absolutely, and you knocked it out of the park, guys. You really did. It was fantastic. Now let's get to the documentary, and just to throw in that, I think I came into the school with you guys every 2-3 weeks there for a stretch, and you would show projects you were working on, and just from my 5,000 years in experience of, what are you seeing? What are some things we could do? And I just enjoyed that so much, seeing you guys do your great work. But then we had the idea for this documentary, and I thought it was fantastic because I think it's something that people that haven't gone and seen it wonder about. They hear about it, and they, state championships. What was the subject, and what did you do?
We did girls wrestling.
Yeah.
Because I think, for me, I really wanted to focus on that, because for me, I think that's just a really awesome and important thing that's especially going on in Iowa and around the United States, for sure.
Yes.
And I think it's important because, it usually is not a women's sport. It never started off like that.
Right.
And it just, more and more women were like, I can do this. I'm able to do this. And so, I just think it was really important for people to see that more, because like when I talk to my family about it, they're like, "There's a girls wrestling team." I'm like, "Yeah, there is a girls wrestling team," and it's like, and it's unique in its own way that they also wrestle differently than the men do.
Right.
Which I think is awesome.
Well, and it started out where the girls were on the boys' team a few years back.
Yeah.
And we got enough schools involved, and Okoboji's one of them, that enough to field an entire team.
Yeah, and it's awesome because it's like these women were able to be on a boys' team and have to wrestle boys.
Yeah.
Biologically, boys have a higher advantage, like physically. And so women being able to be on a boys' team and wrestle boys and be able to overcome that and still come out on top sometimes is awesome.
That's wonderful empowerment.
Yes,
for young
sure.
ladies,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And Coach Paige Storm, she really talked about that because she grew up in the phases of women wrestling men in the collegiate and in high school. She wrestled when she was 5.
Yeah, she started when she was 5 because her dad is Dave Storm is a wrestling coach.
Legendary.
He's been a coach forever, and he got that award not that long ago too, which I think was awesome. And Paige also talked about the fact that she won like a championship in the men's league.
Isn't that awesome?
It's awesome. Yeah.
That is just so wonderful. And you guys put a lot of legwork in. I mean, you didn't just interview wrestlers at Okoboji and the coach. You got out to where it's spread out here in northwest Iowa. Tell me a little bit about that, where you all went and where you got footage from.
So we got footage from 2 collegiate organizations. So we reached out to Corey Muniz at the Iowa Lakes Community College, and great guy. He actually got quite a few of his wrestlers to be interviewed as well.
Yeah.
And then Paige Storm with Buena Vista University and their program. A lot of help there, and without them, we couldn't have done this.
Yeah.
So very fortunate that they agreed to do it, and they kind of went above and beyond with help for us and getting footage and all of that.
Yeah.
So kudos to them for doing that.
Well, and you guys got the opportunity to ask them about their careers, where they started, how they started. Did they wrestle against boys? And some of the things they've had to overcome, and I bet it was a learning experience for you guys as well. Don't you know a lot more about it than when you started?
Yeah.
Of course.
We also interviewed Dave Storm too.
Yeah.
Which he is the Spencer High School girls coach.
Yeah. So yeah, what a great opportunity, and you guys really, when I saw the finished product, I was just so proud of the work that was done, and you're learning to ask questions and follow up questions, and maybe sometimes not be so scripted, but just be curious and have fun in the end. That's kind of what doing all this is about. You have fun, you learn things, you meet great people, and was that your experience?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and it's for me, like, I came up with a lot of the questions, and Leo helped too. But it was nice to like experience and learn how to like do an interview and like have a set of questions that you ask, but also like be an active listener in your interview and just come up with stuff on the spot.
Yeah, and
have a normal conversation that's informative.
And I think the real undertaking for us was, we've done that in the past with our other videos, but for me at least, doing it documentary style, where we kind of had to edit out us asking the questions and kind of asking the questions in a way where it presents them telling us about it rather than us asking about it and then telling us about it.
Yeah.
And painting the picture with that, which I think was a really hard part on my part. I don't know about you, but
yeah, it's a different form of making a video, or a different form of like asking and learning. It definitely was a learning experience for sure. Yeah,
and the goal is to always ask the questions that people watching it on their computer, on their phone, whatever, that they want to know. I wonder how. But she's talking about that, And when you hit that, you've done a wonderful job, and you guys really did. Proud of your work. I couldn't have been more pleased. But the zenith of the whole thing was sometimes you have a premiere and you're all watching it on a widescreen or whatever. You guys had an actual premiere at an actual theater, didn't you?
Yes, we did. So we reached out to the Milford Pioneer Theater. Thank you for hosting us. It was an amazing experience. And I wasn't for sure how many people were going to show up. I was kind of scared, but we reached out to the news, and luckily the news pushed it out, so we did get some people. We pushed it out on Facebook. Thank you everybody that did show up, and it was just a crazy night. More and more people came in. I'm like, I think we're going to fill both theaters. I'm like, whoa. And for a second, like, the first theater was overfilled, so then we had to move it to the other one, and then Dave Storm showed up, and then that filled the entire other theater. So we were just filled with so many people.
Yeah.
That all love the same sport,
Yeah. And what was their response? How did they talk to you afterwards, give you a little feedback?
Yeah, so they all really loved it. They were really proud of the fact that we were wanting to talk about their sport and kind of show the history of it and the growth of it.
Yeah. So does this kind of tip your interest of, I wouldn't mind doing more of this?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I loved it, and I like, my biggest thing personally is, like, I love to do things for people and to make people happy and to make people feel seen. So a part of me felt like I made those girls feel seen for the amount of challenges and the amount of effort that they put in almost their entire life.
Yeah. That's what a wonderful sentiment. You'd like to make people happy and feel good.
Yeah.
That's a great way to go through life, I'll tell you.
To feel seen for what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sure. Just a little recognition, and it's something they can always hold on to, too, as well as you guys. So, all right. Well, I'm going to have you guys do it. I want you to look at the camera and introduce. We're going to take a look at.
My name is Leo Kinnetz.
And I'm Sophia Doll. And this is our documentary, Breaking Boundaries, The Rise of Girls Wrestling.
Girls wrestling is growing in central Iowa and among younger athletes.
I'm Paige Storm. I'm the head women's wrestling coach here at Buena Vista University. We started competing last year. The 23-24 season was the first season that we actually competed, and this is our second season competing.
Yeah, so I'm Corey Muniz. I'm the women's wrestling coach here at Iowa Lakes Community College. We're in our second season, so we're kind of getting, turning the corner on what year one would have been, where it's kind of figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and kind of what translates well from high school to college. And then, we're kind of building on that in year two with a larger team, more experienced team, and trying to edge ourselves into a more competitive style of this sport as well.
I've never really known any different, so grit, tenacity, respect though, respecting your opponent. How can you not like somebody who trains as hard as you, who's training to beat you, that like you both love the same sport? Like, yeah, I'm a very competitive person. The women that are on my team are very competitive women as well. But how can you look down on somebody else, like your opponent, who loves the sport the same way you do and does the same stuff, puts that time in? It takes a lot, dedication, and definitely I would have to say sacrifice as far as, maintaining your diet, maintaining your weight. My dad always used to say champions are made when nobody's looking, and that I firmly believe that, and that's something that I preach to the women on in our program.
It's really cool, especially for me. I've seen it from when I was 5-6 years old, how there was no females wrestling. I've seen it grow all the way up to where we're at here in high school. We're sanctioned. They actually sanctioned it my senior year, so it was cool to be a part of that and see the growth in that too. Actually, I grew up wrestling boys. I wrestled boys until, I didn't actually wrestle a girl until I was about 10 years old, so I wrestled boys, strictly boys, for about 4 or 5 years. And then I started wrestling on the first female elite wrestling team for Iowa. That's founded by Charlotte Bailey.
It's the best opportunity I think a female athlete gets. We get to be part of this growing sport. It's all over America. All the girls are trying it. I did have to wrestle boys starting out. You get a different feel. It's definitely different than wrestling girls. You get beat a lot. It happens. boys are just built different than girls. We move differently, we do moves differently, we train differently. It's a whole different perspective.
I didn't know any different until I started competing against girls, like, also. The first time I wrestled against girls was in 4th grade. So I started in like kindergarten, 1st grade, and the first time I ever got to wrestle a girl was in 4th grade. Big deal, okay? But wrestling girls, my style was different. I was more offensive as a wrestler. I wasn't getting stuffed on my shots. It was more, I guess, equal, you know, in a way. But I definitely saw more success wrestling other women, than I did wrestling boys. And that's not to say I didn't see any success there, but you could definitely tell.
It was really tough. It was challenging. I think it definitely gave me the mentality I have now, because I'd go out there, I'd just lose every single match. I'd just get my butt handed to me. But I always had to come back and wrestle the next match, and I always had to learn from each loss. And I think that really prepared me to wrestle girls and to get my mentality right as well.
My name is Holly Garrett. I'm a freshman in college, and I've wrestled since my junior year of high school. It's really cool to be part of something that is so influential in so many different lives. And little girls, they have people to look up to now, because when I was younger, I always wanted to wrestle. My mom would never let me because it was only boys. And so now seeing girls wrestling becoming a bigger thing. I'm from Indiana, so it's sanctioned in Indiana now this year, which is something I didn't have in high school. But now that means middle school girls can wrestle, just girls, and more kids will be allowed to. I wasn't, other little girls will have the opportunity to now, which is something really cool.
But as far as high school, I guess things go, I wrestled on the boys team. I was a 4-time varsity letter winner on our boys team. I did compete with girls in the off season. That was from March all the way until July, like Fargo Nationals and things like that. But it was mainly, wrestle in season with your team, Spencer Tigers, and yeah.
Big experiences from the start of girls wrestling to where it is now. Back when my daughter was wrestling back in the late 90s, early 2000s, there wasn't that many girls that were wrestling, and in order for us to go to tournaments and stuff, we would have to travel a long way. Detroit, Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Minneapolis, Colorado. There was a while that my mother, Paige's grandmother, took Paige up into Canada and wrestled in some college open tournaments up there. So the growth has really come a long, long way from probably, a couple hundred girls in the state of Iowa to where now I think it's right around 2,000 girls in the state of Iowa that are wrestling.
Kind of one of those things where the nature of the sport is very rewarding in a sense, where you can't really hide in the sport of wrestling like you can on a baseball team, on a football team, on a basketball team. When it's your time to shine, that's it, right? And I think that comes with a little bit of stress, but it's also on the other side of the coin really cool, because there's a lot of pride in the journey that you get to take to allow you to compete at the best of your ability, and I think that's what really drew me to the sport.
So we've talked about how you've been a coach, but what was it like being a father and having a girl wrestle? Did you have any?
Yeah. There was some concerns. Back when Paige was wrestling, there were not very many girls that were wrestling at that time, and we would kind of a funny story. I think she was probably in 4th grade, 5th grade, something like that, and we were going to a tournament to weigh in, and it's all boys, and I think she kind of looked around and she said, I think I'm the only girl here.
It actually was interesting. Legendary coach Dave Storm from Spencer.
I am Dave Storm.
He was the one that reached out to me, and he told me, hey, I know what work you've done with Morgan. You'd be great for something like this. You should throw your hat in the ring. Because I thought I was going to go back home. But I said, all right, if you think I got it on me, let's give it a shot. So I went and threw my hat in the ring. One thing led to another, and here we are today. And I think, honestly, I look back at my career so far as a women's wrestling coach. I know it's still early, but I can't imagine a reality where I go back to coaching the male side of the sport. I think females just have so much more attentiveness to detail they want to learn, they want to grow, very rapidly, and they're very, very coachable. So it's really cool to see, not only for me to fail and succeed in my own position, but to see them buy into what we got going on and just reach new heights that they didn't know were possible for them as athletes too.
Really just focus on bettering myself and the team and perfecting moves that I wasn't comfortable doing before but am now. So
to get out of this season, I just want to see the team continue to grow as a team. I'd like to see obviously everybody grow individually, but I'd like to see some more wins, some dual wins as our team. Some of the girls that haven't really had the outcome they want, I'd like to see them, show that their hard work is paying off and stuff. Because, I'm in here day in and day out watching these girls and watching the work they put in since I'm not really able to do anything. So I see all the girls that are working really hard that have just fallen short each weekend of their goal, and I'm really excited, hoping to see them reach some of their goals this year.
I have been trying to eat healthier, trying to get a good mindset, because something with wrestling, it's one of the hardest sports that I think I've ever done, and I've done 5 different sports in high school, and wrestling takes a lot on your body and it takes a lot mentally, and so being mentally strong and physically strong is really important for the sport of wrestling. So I've been trying to get my mental game where it needs to be as well as my physical.
A lot of conditioning, a lot of technique. We're trying to get better all around. We're doing a little bit of everything and working really hard this year. I am hoping to get a season fulfillment. I guess I'm not sure exactly what it looks like, but I want to end this year knowing that I did good and I'm happy with how I ended my season.
Spencer girls wrestling coach Dave Storm has been honored with the 2025 Golden Plaque Award by the IGH SAU, given to a coach that has made significant contributions to their school community and coaching profession. Under Storm, Spencer girls wrestling has had multiple state champs, while he is the first girls wrestling coach in the state to earn this prestigious honor. The Tigers coach will be formally recognized at the IGH SAU State Wrestling Tournament on February 7th at Extreme Arena in Portland.
All right, there you go. Take a look. Oh, No Boundaries, the rise of women's wrestling. Guys, wonderful job. It's been great working with you during this school year, and I'm very proud of you both and all the work you've done. And Leo, you graduate this year?
I do.
And you graduate next year?
Yes.
The great classes at 25 and 26 right here. Very good. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with you, and thanks again for working with me.
Is it okay if I get a hint towards the next video? So our next video, so Sophia is not currently in No Boundaries anymore, but the next video I'm helping produce and directing is with the new superintendent, as well as Mr. Abrahamson leaving a legacy and his legacy, and then talking with Will about his going forward and the direction that he wants to take.
Fantastic. When can we look forward to seeing that?
It should be after spring break. So I don't know when that's going to be when you upload it, but after spring break.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you again, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Our guests here, Leo Kinnetz and Sophia Menicucci. I couldn't say it. Menicucci.
There you go.
After about 5 attempts, I can get just about anything right.
It's like a wonderful name.
All right. Our guests here today, great students at Okoboji High School with the No Boundaries program. We thank them for being with us, and we thank you, as always, for watching us right here on Okoboji Broadcast.
Okoboji Broadcast from the studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park is brought to you in part by West Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services. Advisor Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz. The headquarters of the University of Okoboji is at the Three Sons, open Monday through Saturday 10 to 5 and Sunday from 10 to 4. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner. Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake. Be Radiant Laser Skin Studio in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji.